Howdy neighbors, I'm Mac McCarty. Glad to be back here again with you on the Rough and Tumble channel. Certainly hope you've seen a number of these shows. Got quite a few of them out there. Still hoping to hear some stories from some of y'all. It would be nice if you would share your stories with me and I could share them with the audience. Bob Harrington shared one. I just gave it and recently, and some of the people really enjoyed it. The story today goes back on a Gulf lease. In the oil field, we always call it the Gulf. Oh, so-and-so works for the Gulf. That's just oil field in speak. It's the way we say it out there. And this was a lease on a ranch, and they had Brangus cow-calf operation. And we were disconnecting hydromotor valves. Well, a hydromotor valve is an electric valve that when the pumping unit comes on, it agitates the well there, and when the well would shut down on the pump, it'd keep flowing because those wells had been flowing before they put the pumps on them. And sometimes after the pump gets it flowing a while, they'd keep flowing even when the pump went down. Well, they didn't want that, so they had this hydromotor valve, electric valve, to shut that flow off when the pump went down. And for a number of years, they had to do that. Well, they weren't needing them anymore, so we were out there to disconnect a bunch of hydromotor valves. And the old boy I was working for, he kind of liked to hang out with the dry cows, we called them. In other words, he liked to go out and party and drink and that kind of stuff. He was a great guy to work with, and but this particular morning we're out there in that, on those lease roads going down to each well in this cow pasture, cutting those valves loose and, taking them out, those hydromotor valves, and he wasn't feeling so top notch. I think maybe a hangover, and he just didn't feel good, and we'd disconnected one or two of those things, and I said, so-and-so, I said, get over there and sit in that truck and leave this to me. I said, I know exactly what to do. I said, you don't have to be out here. I said, go on over there and take a break. Get you a nap, He said, man, I think I will, So he got over there and, went out, plumb to sleep, trying to get the feeling better. And I disconnected that valve at that well, got it all tended to, cleaned up, and looked over there, and he was out. He was out. And I thought, well, shoot, that next well down through the pasture there was, I'd say, 150 yards or 200 yards, something like that, Not that far away, so I thought, well, what do I need? I need a little pipe bender to, when I cut that thing off, just kind of dig around it and bend it in the ground, a shovel, hacksaw, and some various things, hand tools. And I thought, well, I can handle this. And I grabbed all of what I need, and I just took off down that lease road toward that other pumping unit out in that pasture. And I got on down there, disconnected all that, and got it tended to, got ready to walk back up there. Well, he apparently was still out, resting. He needed the rest. He'd probably been up pretty much all night. And anyway, as I'm walking back toward the truck, out of that bunch of Brangus cows and calves, here comes this Brangus cow at me bellowing, "Ooh, here she comes, And I thought, I've been around cows, and it just wasn't typical. I think she had lost her calf or something, because she's coming at me and running at me, and boy, when she gets closer, I waved my arms at her, and she veered off, and run out of ways, and here she comes back again. I mean, she was intent on nailing me. I didn't belong out there. I guess I was being blamed for the calf she had lost, as if that's what happened. I don't know. But I know this was one mad old cow, and she wanted to nail me to the wall. And so as I kept walking, here she'd come again. Whoa, at me, and run and charge at me. And man, I'd wave my arms at her and she'd veer off. And then she's getting a little braver. So here she come again, and I thought, boy, this time she's probably going to come real close to me. I just dropped everything but that pipe bender, and I had that thing in my hand. I was fixing to nail her, boy, if she got too close to me. She's going to try to knock me out of that pasture, forget it. So here she come, and boy, she got close. I swung that old pipe bender, and I probably didn't miss her old nose, but about that far. And she veered off, and this time she kind of run off a little further. It was like, whoops, that was a close call. And turn around, here she come again. So I was grabbing my stuff, and I was kind of trying to trot on up there back to the truck. Here, I don't know how many times she made a swipe at me, and I think it's just amazing she didn't take me out, But I thought, wow, I've never seen a cow just that persistent wanting to nail somebody out here. Finally, I got back up the truck, and all the other wells were just too far to go toting stuff and, go to try to tend to them. And I said, well, I managed to get 2 of them, and he's had a while to rest, and I'll just sit out here and wait on him to get him a little rest. And directly he stirred and woke up and said, what's going on? Have you got this one done? I said, I've got 2. 2? Well, I said, I walked down there to that other one. He said, oh, man, I appreciate that. And I said, all right, it's nothing. And I said, except for that cow that kept trying to nail me. What do you mean? And then he saw what I was talking about. And but I'll never forget that old boy. He was a good-natured guy. And he just had, kind of been out there. We kind of look out for each other out there. When you work with stuff every day that'll kill you, you want to know that the people you're working with have got your back, that they're going to help you, they're going to take care of you. And, not everything is perfect in this life. I was just a helper at the time, and I was doing what I could to help this guy. And anyway, that's the episode of the Wild Cow right there. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate a like and a subscribe. And hey guys, come on and tell me some of your stories. I haven't seen a whole lot of you. I'd like to see some more. Kind of got disconnected, it's been a number of years, and so I don't know how to get a hold of a lot of people. But at any rate, I'd appreciate hearing some of your stories. And till next time, I'm Mike McCarty saying so long for the Rough and Tumble Channel.